Good day. I'm Professor Matsidinkane Solomon Manamela. I'm going to present the paper titled An Evaluation of the Use of Electronic Evidence in the Investigation of Procurement Corruption, a case study of Ethekwini region. This paper is co-authored by one of my students, Mr. Prince Mlondolozi Hlengwa. The contents of today's presentation is going to be the introduction, discussion of literature, research methodology, findings, recommendations. The last one will be conclusion. Introduction. Corruption in the procurement process is one of the biggest challenges in the South African government. It manifests itself in public, private sector, and has a significant negative societal moral decay of South Africans. Again, it erodes public trust in government, undermines the ethical decision-making, and has detrimental effect in the economy and service delivery in the country. With the constant advancement in technology of 21st century, the gathering of electronic evidence in fighting procurement corruption is proven to be more relevant both in criminal and civil litigation. In Ethekwini region, there is a lack of control in procurement and property management that leads to financial losses, efficiencies, and increased risk of procurement corruption or mismanagement. As I've already said, our research was also based in Ethekwini within those few regions. And then it was done in the public works of the department. The discussion of literature, we started by discussing the role of electronic evidence in the investigation of procurement corruption. The information, it will be available in details in our article. It was followed by the types of electronic evidence in procurement corruption. And we also touched on legal requirements for forensic investigator to collect and preserve electronic evidence. We looked at the prevention and detection of procurement corruption in South Africa, the challenges of the authentication of electronic evidence in the investigation of procurement corruption, the relationship between the procurement corruption and electronic evidence, type of procurement corruption, and the last one is that we discuss is the action contributing to the procurement corruption. On the next slide is the research methodology. The study adopted the empirical research design. The approach that was followed is qualitative approach. The sampling method technique that was used is purposive in selecting the participants. We only concentrated on the participants from the public works that they were working to investigate procurement corruption at the Ethekwini region. The data was analyzed using the thematic analysis technique. After analyzing the participant data, we came up with findings, and we came up first with findings and then followed by a recommendation. We realized that there was the lack of capacity for forensic investigators in Ethekwini region. And then again, the forensic investigators were not having appropriate training to preserve and maintain the correct procedure of gathering of evidence from the crime scene. And then active oversight and create and they were not having created a comprehensive counter plan. And then they didn't have the knowledge of their suppliers. They didn't have supply capacity, and actually they didn't have a knowledge of supply capacity. And then they didn't have the mechanism to monitor their tendering processes. A recommendation, we said they have to employ enough forensic investigators to handle the workload in the Ethekwini region, provide adequate training to forensic investigators in the region to conduct proper investigation related to procurement, use the emerging technology like big data and artificial intelligence in fight against corruption, an intense oversight process that examine the effective of firm and utility establishment control review procedure, a lively and well-articulated form of remedy to which tackle corruption from many ends, conducting background checks to guarantee that business are done with only those who have not been tainted by the scourge of corruption. Suppliers should be vetted to ensure that they meet the requisite standard. Production of fake goods and getting companies in their countries to produce on behalf of the local companies. There is a lot that happens through the whole value chain and needs monitoring. My last slide is to do with conclusion. Considering the extent of the electronic evidence that can be collected in digital space, given as well as the growing number of devices that can generate digital data, the article made the recommendation that forensic investigators be trained and adequate resources to be allocated in a Ethekwini region, coupled with the latest technology that will enable the forensic investigators to discharge their duties optimally. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you. Questions and clarity may be forwarded to the indicated email. Thank you. Mr. Brown, can you hear me?